Well, we're on the highway between Dillard, Georgia and Highlands, North Carolina. And we're just checking colonies one last time before winter sets in. It's mid-October and the leaves are starting to turn and the feeding needs to come to a stop, in my opinion. I do not like feeding sugar syrup once the weather turns cool, and we avoid it. Even if a colony isn't super heavy, we'll stop feeding, knowing that we might choose to put fondant on it in the winter. So we're just here checking brood nests, making sure the colony looks like it's going to make it through winter. We're not digging in deep. We're not looking to make sure if it's queen right, because we've already done that weeks ago. We just want to see if there's enough bees in the box and if the buckets are empty. I see the jars are all empty, which makes sense. It's been a week and a half since we were here. So we might choose to leave a bucket if it's still got a little syrup in it. If it's empty, it's going to come off. We got some cold nights coming. Not cold by northern beekeepers' points of view, but for here in northeast Georgia, if it gets down into the low 30s or something like that, we consider it a cool night. So go ahead, guys, let's start checking it out.
Okay. See what we got.
See what we got. The clusters will be much smaller now because they haven't been brooding like they were. Is that an empty? Pretty empty? Yeah, let's take it off. Okay. You got a few bees, yeah. Brood nests can be much smaller, a lot less bees. Now what we're going to do, we're going to come back in probably 3 weeks and take all the strips off too. I don't want the bees to overwinter with these strips in them because I'm not entirely sure how they'll do with that. If they were in there and I were choosing to leave them, at the very least I would make sure there weren't any in the center of the cluster. I don't know if these strips will mess the cluster up. That's my big question mark. I don't want these getting in the middle of a cluster. And because I think we're in really clean condition as far as mites go, I think we'll be fine taking them off. That'll be well into November when we take them off, and then they won't go back on. We'll put fresh strips on probably April following year. So.
And this is a nice heavy.
Is that pretty heavy?
Yeah, that one was heavy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got some weight.
Okay. So see, I would not want these strips in the middle of the winter cluster.
Right.
But it doesn't matter because we're going to take them off in a few weeks anyway.
Okay.
That's a good one.
These colonies just happen to be pole-line queens from a pole-line grafter mated with Caucasian drones for the most part. That's what we're looking at here. So that's plenty of bees. We've already looked at a few brood nests in the last yard, and there's just a few eggs being laid. They're almost done. There's of course some sealed brood in there and some larvae, but the egg laying is just about coming to an end. I think in the next week or two they'll be done. And then we'll be back in a month to 4 to 5 weeks to start our oxalic acid vaporization, unless we get some abnormally warm weather in the meantime. Pretty full. Empty, empty. Okay. We got one over here, John. You're going to have to look into this one and see why this bucket's so full.
Okay. Here, go ahead and look
Yeah,
now.
go ahead, yeah.
Okay.
It's always a red flag.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, they're cold.
It's funny, you can go through a yard of bees and come back in a week or two and see issues you didn't see the last time.
Well, yeah, because we know we went through these, not...
You and Selena checked these for queen rightedness, what, about a month ago?
Yeah, about a month ago, yeah.
Well, you might have killed the queen when you were here checking for queen.
Right, that's the... Look at it.
They're fine, no problem.
Yeah, they're going away. And they got some weight.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. They got some bees are just
Well, maybe the plastic plug. Let's look at the plug.
It's got
all the holes are open?
Yes, sir. Got about 9 holes.
Well, just save it. Maybe one of these other colonies will use it.
They're not hurting for sure. They're good.
So that one is not super heavy, and they still have a good bit of syrup in their bucket, so I'm going to get it back to them.
Yeah, it's not that much. Okay. okay, yeah. So these were single-story colonies, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so these colonies were single-story during the honey flow. Go ahead. And we put on an empty box of drawn comb, or a box of empty drawn comb. And we've been feeding them sugar syrup to get them heavy. So that's a little different than colonies that would have been double deeps during the honey flow. I would expect more bees and a lot more weight in those kind of colonies. That one's a little larger, huh? Yeah, that's a decent colony for us. How heavy is that?
It's not super
It's
heavy.
heavy enough. Yeah, it's got.
You want to give this back to me?
Yeah, let's let them finish it. There's plenty of bees in there to do the job. I'm just following you around, Selena.
That one's nice and heavy. Oh, got a spider. Oh,
Oh, that's a black widow spider right there. Look at that. Right there, black widow spider.
I just stuck my hand right on it.
Yeah, I know. I've done that. I got hit by a black widow years ago. It was really weird.
Look at that.
I couldn't. It was the flesh where I got the sting or whatever you call it, the bite, was decomposing. I thought it would go away, and eventually I just had to go to the ER and have them cut it out because it was continuing to decay, and my flesh was rotting is what was going on. It was from a black widow bite. Had a hole in my finger for a long time. It's kind of filled in now. I know it sounds weird, doesn't it?
Yeah. We've seen them around a little bit
Yeah.
recently.
I'd say that one's probably okay. Just check the weight and make sure.
I'm going to give them their bucket back too.
Yeah, they could take it. But you know, they'd make it till next February with the weight that's in there. It's interesting how they can go through the middle of winter when they're not brooding up with just 2 or 3 frames of honey. It's February, March that they start losing weight really fast when they start raising a lot of brood. Okay, all right. So I made a comment about this yard of bees in our recent videos where we were doing research on oxalic strips. I made mention that how the pole lines crossed with the Caucasians were so nice to work with. I'm walking around in this yard with no veil. Check this one out. That's a little on the small side. Make sure they got a queen. I don't have a veil on. These bees are fine.
Yeah, they're really chill.
Yeah, they're fine. And you can see we have a few empty spots on our pallets. Usually that represents colonies that went queenless sometime during the summer. Perhaps the colony swarmed and it didn't get requeened properly, or perhaps the queen wasn't up to our liking and we killed her and stacked the box on, stuff like that.
Sugar over here.
Look at this guy. He had a bad day.
He was not allowed present.
That one's nice and heavy.
As can be seen, not all the buckets came off. Some of them still had a little in them, and we'll leave that until they're finished. Kind of an interesting observation in this yard. The clusters are a little on the small side, the bee population, which is kind of typical of Caucasian. Again, these were pole-line queens mated with Caucasians, but they seem to have taken on a bit of the Caucasian trait of not overwintering. At least our Caucasians don't overwinter with real big clusters. When we have our pure Caucasians, very few of them have a big cluster for winter.
thing's a monster.
I just got through talking about small clusters. You say you got a big one?
Yeah, this one's got the top and bottom full of bees. They don't look like it now because now they're all. Yeah, it's got
full of bees. Yeah.
It's big.
There's always those outliers. Some that are too small and some that are maybe bigger than we really want. So I know I've taken a lot of video of our zinnia garden earlier in the year, but I just can't help myself. It's not the zinnias that are so impressive right now, it's the amount of insects in here. The bees and the butterflies and moths and a few hornets and yellow jackets, they're all over the zinnia garden, I assume because there's not much else blooming. Even our native sunflowers down there are just about over, and I think the insects are taking advantage of anything that's blooming right now. And this is our second round on this zinnia garden. The first round kind of faded away and we pulled it up and planted it again. Today's the 20th of October, and this will, I think, persist until we get a frost or a hard freeze, which may happen in a few nights, but right now it's gorgeous. And it's really neat to see the butterflies coming through. I guess they're migrating, I don't know. But there's at least 3 or 4 different varieties of butterflies that are on this right now. Makes me want to plant an acre of this stuff next year. Of course, that's a lot of maintenance and a lot of work that we probably won't get around to ever doing, but it'd be fun to try it. And people are stopping, the tourists going up and down the road are stopping just to take pictures of this little zinnia patch. It's really cool.